Is there no sound? Hello?
Adi Purusha Prabhu, we can't hear you. Looks like he's reading, but we can't hear anything. You're muted.
I don't think he realizes.
All the worlds,
there we
both
go.
material and spiritual, adista, being ordered, prabhuna, by the master, anshnena, with her different potential factors, karya arte, for executing business, sambhavishiti, would also appear. Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. The potency of the Lord, known as Vishnu-maya, who is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will also appear with Lord Krishna. This potency, acting in different capacities, captivates all the worlds, both material and spiritual. At the request of her master, she will appear with her different potencies in order to execute the work of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Parasya Sakti Vibhaya Shuyate. This is from the Shvetashvara Upanishad. In the Vedas, it is said that the potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called by different names, such as Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Ultimately, however, the Lord's potency is one. Exactly as electric potency is one, though it can act to cool and to heat. The Lord's potency acts in both the spiritual and material worlds. In the spiritual world, the Lord's potency works as Yogamaya. And in the material world, the same potency works as Mahamaya, exactly as electricity works in both a heater and a cooler. In the material world, this potency, working as Mahamaya, acts upon the conditioned souls to derive them more and more of devotional service. It is said, Yaya samohitam jiva atmanam tri gunatmakam. In the material world, the conditioned soul thinks of himself as a product of triguna, the three modes of material nature. This is the bodily conception of life. Because of associating with the three gunas of the material potency, everyone identifies himself with his body. Someone is thinking he is a Brahmana, someone a Kshatriya, someone a Vaishya or a Shudra. Actually, one is neither a Brahmin, Kshatriya, or Vaishya or Shudra. One is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Mamaivang Shah. But because of being covered by the material energy, Mahamaya, one identifies himself in these different ways. When the conditioned soul becomes liberated, however, he thinks himself an eternal servant of Krishna. Please repeat that. When the conditioned soul becomes liberated, he thinks himself an eternal servant of Krishna. When the conditioned soul becomes liberated, he thinks himself an eternal servant of Krishna. Jivana Swarabhaya Krishnera Nityadas. When he comes to that position, the same potency, acting as Yogamaya, increasingly helps him become purified and devote his energy to the service of the Lord. In either case, whether the soul is conditioned or liberated, the Lord is supreme. How wonderful is Krishna. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter. By the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that material energy, Mahamaya, works upon the conditioned soul. Prakate Guyamanani, Gunai Kamani Sarvashaha, Ahankaravi Mudatma, Kartaham Iti Manyate. Translation: the bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities, which are actually carried out by nature. It's a little bit confusing. I'm thinking that I'm doing this, but actually what we're doing is we desired, like suppose there's a powerful river flowing south, and you desire to jump in the river, you jump in the river and you're carried along by the river. So once we step into the influence of the three modes of material nature, then our activities are practically automatic, and we're not actually being swept south. It's the power of the river that we chose to jump into. Okay, the bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities that are actually carried out by nature. Within conditioned life, no one has freedom. But because one is bewildered, being subject to the rule of Mahamaya, one foolishly thinks himself independent. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. We think we're independent. But when the conditioned soul becomes liberated by executing devotional service, he is given a greater and greater chance to relish a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in different transcendental statuses, such as Dasya Ras, Shakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, and Madhurya Ras. These are different kinds of relationships with Krishna. Thus, the Lord's potency, Vishnu Maya, has two features of Aranika and Unmukha. When the Lord appeared, because this whole chapter is about the appearance of the Lord. You remember Mother Bhumi was crying, Mother Earth personified. She took the form of the cow. She went before Lord Rama with tears in her eyes and said, the world is overburdened by the unnecessary defense forces of demoniac kings. It's such an overburden. Help. So Lord Brahma, along with all the demigods, took Mother Bhumi to the shore of the Milk Ocean, and there they appealed to the Lord, praying. Purusha shook the prayers. And from within his heart, Lord Brahma heard the response. Okay, let's go to the earth. He called on all the demigods and say, I'm going to bring my potencies and bring you guys, and everybody's going to go there, and we're going to do something wonderful, and we're going to do it together. So we're called upon, and the demigods are called upon here in this part of the story to join with the Lord, including his potency. So the potency, she acted as Yogamaya with Jasoda, Devaki, and other intimate relations of the Lord. And she acted in a different way with Kamsa. Anybody remember that scene when Yogamaya appears and Kamsa comes to kill the child? What happened? You know. She jumped up in the sky.
She calls him a fool.
He said, "You fool, Kamsa, you fool." And what else? Yeah, I'm not Krishna. He's the eighth child, and he's already here, and he's going to get you. You're going to get it. She acted in a different way with Kamsa, Shalva, and other asuras. By the order of Lord Krishna, his potency, Yogamaya, came with him and enabled different activities according to the time and circumstance. Karyate samavishyati Yogamaya acted differently to execute different purposes desired by the Lord. Who knows what the purposes of the Lord when he appears are? Jason?
Cleanse the world of all the sin. People are being sinful, so bring them back to Krishna.
Okay, Angel T. He chastised the miscreants. He uplifted the devotees and encouraged them who were going the right way. And he enunciated principles of religion. Mahatmanas Tuvang Bharta Daivam Prakatim Ashritaha. The Mahatmas, who are fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord, are directed by Yogamaya, whereas the Duratmas, those who are devoid of devotional service, are directed by Mahamaya. Okay, please everyone take a moment, offer a prayer to Krishna. Please everyone pray to Krishna. Everyone take a moment. Lord Krishna, please bless us that what we have to say is only what's in accordance with Guru and Shastra. We want to say what you want to say here, Lord. Please guide us to say what you want us to say. If you make that prayer, it sure does help, because the Lord is the one who we invoke to speak through us. We are not speaking my opinion, I think, because we want to know what Krishna wants to say. He might say different things in different circumstances. So yesterday, such an extraordinary class with what's his name? Madan Gopal. Oh my goodness. Besides the fact that, you can see this is a very sincere and an elevated and pure soul, full of faith, full of erudite wisdom from scripture and the grace of his spiritual master. He basically gave us the encyclopedia of the Srimad Bhagavatam about Lord Balaram, right? Everybody heard that class yesterday? Unbelievable. And, the Prakash, the different ways that, yeah. Prakash, is that it, Prakash? And the veil? What are the two things? One starts with a P, one starts with a V. What? And Vilas. Krishna comes, and sometimes he appears, just like when he's dancing with the gopis, he expands himself into innumerable, identical Krishnas to dance with each gopi. When he had 16,000 wives, in every palace, Krishna was there with each one of them all the time. But that, and they looked at those forms of Krishna look identical Krishna. And then there's the Vilas, which means Krishna comes slightly different, like with Balaram. Balaram is whitish, Krishna is blackish, and all the different manifestations, the expansion. He spoke about the expansions of Lord Balaram and how they maintaining the cosmic manifestation and all the different expansions of the expansions and expansions of the expansions of the expansions and all this. So he talked about something that Krishna does. And he spoke about what he looked like, what his activities were. And we need help with this. We're going to ask you to participate. Anybody can unmute themselves. You have that little button. Why did he do that? Besides the fact of all the different names for Balaram and ways that he expands himself, and he comes to please the Lord by being his servitor and expanding as well as paraphernalia. Why did he do that?
He doesn't want to be alone.
Why does Balaram appear in different ways and all the different expansions and do all these different things? What is the intention? What is the purpose? What is the result of him showing off this multifarious, complex, magnificent variety of ways that, who knows?
To attract us.
Yes, he does that to attract us. He does that because he loves us. He does that to reach out to us, to impress us, with all these fantastic activities and forms. He's trying to encourage us. What does it say? First you say, how wonderful is Krishna, and then, how can I serve you? To attract us to the service of the Lord. Why? Why does he do that? Why does he want to attract us to his service? Because he wants to get something?
And he wants us to get something.
Yes, it's for our benefit, because he knows it's good for us to engage in devotional service. This is love. Krishna acts with us for our benefit. Prabhupada said, I love you means I love you for you, not I love you for what I can get from you. Right? People throw around this, I love you. And it's usually somehow or other exploitive, manipulative. You're a feather in my hat, right? Rather than actually acting only for the benefit. And the spiritual master, Dr. Sheikh, pointed out yesterday that Lord Balaram, Nityananda, is, what did you say, Dr. Sheikh?
He's the manifestation. Srila Prabhupada is a manifestation of Balaram.
What did you say about Lord Nityananda? Oh,
Nityananda is Guru. He's Sri Guru.
right. He's the original guru. So Guru tells us what to do, shows us what to do, guides us. And one other feature that Prabhu was speaking about yesterday was Lord Nityananda. He's munificent. He's merciful. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they're competing to see who can be more merciful, who can benefit us more, and then he's forgiving. Wow, glorious. So we heard so much about Lord Balaram yesterday. Today we're talking about Yoga Maya and the potency of the Lord coming for the same purpose, to assist the Lord in his pastimes, to assist the Lord in his purposes, to assist the Lord in showing his love for us. I saw the teacher, as mentioned before, nobody loves me, I'm going to go out and eat worms. You ever hear that? You heard that before, Angel?
No.
Nobody loves me, I'm going to go out and eat worms. Yeah.
I don't understand, no one loves me.
It means, I'm just going to go abuse myself and waste my life because what's the point? Nobody loves me. Some people feel like that. Some people feel like they're alone. I'm all alone. Nobody's alone. Krishna's always there. Krishna always loves you. Every single thing, every single atom. He's within and between every atom. And he loves you. And he's in control. And he's doing everything for our benefit. Therefore, we don't just tolerate what's going on. We thank Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for everything, just as it is. You doing it perfectly. Why do I lament? Why do I complain? Why do I hanker? Why do I think there's some lack? No. I may not understand it. I may not prefer it. It may not be, the way I like it to be, but it's perfect because it's coming from Krishna. How wonderful is Krishna? In the Christian tradition, sometimes they talk about the idea of having a guardian angel. You ever hear that?
Yeah.
Guardian angel? Because everybody has a little angel there with them, watching over them, calling to them, trying to encourage them to do what's right. Well, Krishna's there too. Personally, the Lord is there. There's no problem. Imagine that. There's no problem. I am a worryaholic. I am a lamentaholic. I'm a hankeraholic. That's what my mind is, this way, that way, this way, that way. Complaining, worried. But there's another route. Parastas matu bhavanyo vyakto yaktat sanatana. You know that verse? Parastas matu vyak. There's another realm of existence. There's another quality of life. There's our true home. There's the reality outside of this crazy dream we're having. And there, we're with Krishna. He loves us. There's harmony. People love each other. Underneath everything, everybody loves everybody else. But we've forgotten how to express it. But the miracle of devotional service, right? Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavat kinchana savarganas tatra samasta te sura. The one who has full faith in Guru and Krishna and is engaged in their service, all the good qualities come. All the problems are solved. We chant the holy name, engage in devotional service, try to please the Lord. Kalea doshanide rajan. Doshanide, there's an ocean of faults in this Kali Yuga. So it's ridiculously messed up. Kirtan Reva Krishna Sya Mukta Sangha Parang Bhajet. Simply by chanting the holy name, everything is solved. When we align ourselves with the will of the Lord and act for Krishna's pleasure, everything else is accomplished automatically. So we invite everyone to hit that unmute button and let's hear your voices, what's going on in your life. We've heard some amazing shit. I mean, this week when I saw Madan Gopal's class yesterday and Hari Prasad's class the day before that, and Achyuta Gopi's class, I was thinking, what? How could I possibly do anything, say anything? So you might feel like that, but no. Krishna's giving each of us a piece of the puzzle. Krishna is acting in your life today and yesterday, and we want to hear about it and how you responded to it. Unmute. Anyone want to share or reflections, what you've heard that might sound valuable and worth repeating?
Hare Krishna, Adi.
Hare Krishna.
Hi. Well, there are a couple of things. One is, I love you saying the word Yogamaya so much this morning. The yoga studio that I teach from home, but right after this class, is called Yogamaya. So I literally am always warming up during this class for Yogamaya. So I was just really appreciating that. But I love the sweetness in that, we're talking about Krishna's siblings even before he comes. Here's my brother Balaram. Here's my sister. That, it's showing this like loving affection. Here, it's like that other time when the past time when Krishna is entering the forest, and he says, "Oh, Balaram, look, the trees are bending down for you, not for me." And this sweetness that he has, he could do everything all by himself, but he gives it to the brother and the sister to giving everyone an opportunity to serve in this beautiful way. So I just was really appreciating that. So thank you.
Thank you. First time I heard from the devotees, Krishna's lotus feet. I said, God has feet? And then they said, yeah, Balaram is his brother. God has a brother? He has a brother. God had a brother. But you're right. For the sake of the loving exchanges, Krishna manifests like that. And that's why he manifests all of us too. And the Ramayana is full of these amazing loving exchanges. Lakshman leaves his wife and goes to the forest with Ram. If you go into the forest, I go into the forest with you. And then he stays up all night and guards them, and he's completely, his only focus is, and there's this one, Marai Bapu, this one guy who tells Ramayana stories, and he goes from country to country. I was in Malaysia and he had about 9,000 people attending his class on the Ramayana. There's no costumes, no music, no scenery, just one guy telling the story. And he talks for like 6 or 7 or 8 hours every day for like 4 or 5 days. And there's 9,000 people listening. And he tells the story of the love, the brotherly love and the sweetness of the loving exchanges between Krishna and Krishna's expansion. And 9,000 people are weeping like tears, crying uncontrollably because he tells it so clearly. And I was like, wow, I never really, it's a story, but I mean, wow, that's so sweet and so so beautiful, and these people have such tender hearts that they're moved by hearing how Krishna loves his brother loves him. I'm sorry to talk, but who else has something to say? Beamer,
Hari Hari, can you hear me?
we hear you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm way out of the picture. Hold on, I gotta turn this off here. I'm sorry, you called on me. I really wanted to hear from other people first. I'm just in a listening mood right now, but if somebody says something that sparks up a memory for me, that would be nice. I'm sure everybody would like to talk about, even little things, because it is all in the little things, the little moments throughout our day. Ultimately we have to be conscious of Krishna constantly, and that means the little moments as well. And so I would just like to hear other devotees down there speak upon this subject. Hare Krishna. I'll listen in. And if I'm making too much sound with my buckets clanging, someone just mute me, because I'm way away from my phone. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Nice to know that you want to hear from the devotees.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna, Adi Purusha Prabhu. What you're sharing made me think of, how nothing's a coincidence. I try to read from the Bhagavad Gita a verse and the Chaitanya Charitamrita every day, at least one verse. And coincidentally, the ones that I read last night seem to be very much in line with what you're talking about. I read 9.2, Bhagavad Gita 9.2, and the section of the purport that I wrote down that I really loved was where Srila Prabhupada says, all devotional service is joyful, and God accepts only the love in which we give the things that we offer him.
Wow.
And then again, not coincidentally, because everything's, Krishna arranges. The Chaitanya Charitamrita verse that I read was Adi Lila 1.2.18. And the first, I think it's like almost the first line in Prabhupada's purport, he writes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is by nature joyful. And it just, it felt very appropriate to what you're talking about. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, there's a verse in the Bible that says, he took away my sadness and gave me joy. That's Krishna's promise. We can call on him for that. Hey, come on now. And actually, sadly enough, we're attached to our sadness. It's a form of sense gratification. Poor me. Call it a pity party, right? Anybody else there?
It's interesting you say that. I've been having a big pity party with my I keep saying my first son from Russia, who was abducted from me back in 1999. He was only 2 years old. He's about 24 years old now. His name is Brian Joseph Mohican. I say Joseph because yesterday I was chanting. I was asking Krishna to help me with these feelings, and I go into the train station and I gave this homeless dude my stop. This homeless dude okay, I'm gonna have to find another word, right? I gave this homeless dude half of my drink. I don't remember what it was. I think it was hot chocolate. So then someone saw me do that and he came over. He said, no. Not only that, let me give him something else. So he gave him something else. And we got to talking. And his name happened to be Joseph. Wow. So I said, there's no coincidence here. So there's a reason why we were talking. And so he says, well, I work for the Bowery Mission and I'm a chef. And I'm like, what? I'm like, wow. And so I shared with him what we do at Interfaith, the food distribution. And I just had goosebumps all over my body, like Krishna. So thank you for allowing me to share.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to class.
Hare Krishna. I have a quick thing to share. We're here live at the Bhakti Center at the temple room. And I think it's 10 of us. It's precisely 10 of us. And Adi Purusha Prabhu has a story about a very mystical coincidence that involves attendance,
It happened
being present
right in
at
this
the
room.
temple, praying together, and a name, right? Can you tell that story?
Well, in the Bible, there's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, two cities that became very, very degraded. Population very sinful. So Abraham said to his nephew Lot, the Lord just told me that He's going to destroy these cities. And I said to him, Lord, my nephew is in that city, Sodom. You know, He was going to rain down fire and brimstone from the sky and erupt volcanic eruption and just completely obliterate the entire population, the whole city. So he said, Lord, can you spare them? Can you spare them? Maybe if I can find, what?
Spare me.
If I can find 100 people that come together for the morning program, can you please not destroy? He said, okay, 100. And then Abraham thought, well, what about 50? So it said, okay, you find 50 people at the morning program. What about 20? Okay, 20. What about 10? All right, 10. You can find 10 people that come together to chant, worship, glorify the Lord, study scripture. I will spare this city. So Abraham went everywhere. He couldn't get 10 people together. So he said to his nephew, we got to get out of here. This place is toast. Get the family. And they went running out of the city, and the fire and brimstone started coming. And he told his wife, don't turn back. But she looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. But the point is, you know, sometimes you have to get out. But so in the Hasidic Jewish communities, they every day, just like we have morning program, each one of those people makes they have it in their heart. I've got to get a minyan. I've got to get 10 people together today to come to the morning program, right? And if they don't have 10 people, then they Simon, we only have a minyan. Get another guy over here. We only have 9. You know, so they try to get 10 people together to pray and worship and study scripture together every day. And if they don't, they take it. It's very, 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 very serious. You know. So we were here in the Bhakti Center. I served here 6 years, living here in the building, and we had a guest program here. We had about 25 guests every night. So I was here in this room, the temple room, which faces out on First Avenue. And you may or may not know, there are 6 bars on this block. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, right when we're doing japa, the bars let out. So like crowds of people go out on the street, they're screaming, yelling, throwing up, urinating on each other, everything you can imagine. They're all drunk and howling like subhuman. And I looked out the window, and there was across the street, there was Lucky Cheng's Chinese transvestite bar. And there were 2, all the waitresses have black lipstick and wear mini skirts and stuff, and they're men dressed as ladies. And so there were 2 men in mini skirts hailing a cab, and some people were fighting and pulling each other's hair and punching each other and screaming and yelling. All this. And around the corner, there was an S&M bar which was like sadomasochistic bar where they have whips and chains, and I don't know what they get out of that, but they're so dull. They beat each other. And their girlfriends have like dog leash collars on and everything. They pierce this and pierce that. And they just look like, you know, completely degraded. So all this is going on outside the window. I heard all this howling, and I took a peek out there, and I was thinking, this looks like Sodom and Gomorrah. And then that morning at the morning program, there were only 9. And then at the last minute, this one guest came down for the job. His name is Chris. He was a AWOL from the Coast Guard. He was staying with us, hiding in the temple. And so he came to the morning program. So in class that day, I mentioned, you know, the minyan, the idea of a minyan. And today we only had 9. And then Chris came down, and he you know, he made 10, and that we had 10 people. And then Chris said, do you know what my last name is? Minion. His name is Minion. Anyway, Krishna arranges these things, but it's important. Prabhupada says that because of the Sankirtan, because of the Harinam, because of the book distribution, because of the prasad distribution, because the devotees coming together for kirtan and taking care of the deity and chanting the holy name, the city, which should really be toasted by fire and brimstone, is being spared for now. So we're counteracting the Kali Yuga just by coming together for kirtan.
I have a question, Adi Purusha Prabhu. But is Krishna that God of fire and brimstone? Like I get confused when we're talking about the God from the Old Testament, because from my understanding of what people have said, that's not always Krishna. That's like demigods and more of a jealous kind of thing.
Sometimes they're referring to a higher being that's not the Supreme Lord, but in any case, as you sow, so shall you reap. That's the point. Whether Krishna does it directly or by somebody who's working for him, you know, there's a price to pay. So maybe we'll try to do one song here. We have a few minutes. Want to do a song or not? Keep talking. William says yes.
Hold on, there's a question.
There's a question. Please.
Preeti.
Preeti. You can unmute yourself. Preeti.
Oh, lost Preeti.
Unmute so we can hear you, Preeti.
So, Andrea, it was Krishna indirectly as a price to pay.
Whether it was or not, important is there is a price to pay. Can you move back a little bit? Can you hear the guitar? Can anyone hear the guitar?
Yes, we can hear the guitar.
Yes, we can, Prabhu.
Krishna, lover of my soul, let me to thy strong arms fly, while the years of life still roll, while the chance is still nearby. Hide me, please hide me, Krishna, till the storms of life are past. Safe into thy haven guide me. Please receive my soul at last. Try that. Krishna, lover of my soul, let me to thy strong arms fly, while the years of life still roll, while the chance is still nearby. Hide me, please hide me, Krishna, till the storms of life are past. Safe into thy haven guide me. Please receive my soul at last. Other refuge have I none. All I have, my Lord, is thee. Leave me, please leave me not alone. Still my help and comfort be. Your boundless love surrounds me, love to cover all my sin. Your boundless love astounds me, make and keep me pure within. Thank you, Krishna. Krishna lover of my soul, let me to thy strong arms fly, while the years of life still roll, while the chance is still nearby. Hide me, please hide me, Krishna, till the storms of life are past. Safe into thy haven guide me, please receive my soul at last. Ready, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna lover of my soul, let me to thy strong arms fly, while the years of life still roll, while the chance is still nearby. Hide me, please hide me, Krishna, till the storms of life are past. Safe into thy haven guide me, please receive my soul at last. We have a feeling Bhima wants to say something. All right, hey, Jai Prabhupada.
Aye.
Bhima, did you want to say something?
How can I follow up that? That'd be like getting up on the stage at a coffee house when Cat Stevens is singing and then having something to say. No.
Okay, wonderful is Krishna.
Yeah, how wonderful is Krishna? Hare Krishna.
All right, hey, well, glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're at 7:59. If anybody else has a question, comment, angle of vision, or a fast voice crack. Okay, well, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.